and I cannot remember the last of the words that you said.
You're listening to WeP3 Radio on the Patriot Radio Network. Currently playing Mountain. I'm Matt Wood.
Is it wrong that I'm fighting the way that I feel? I know there'll be a day this will all disappear.
Left your left, hey. Left right, your left. You got it. Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it.
Thank you for joining in today with Andrea Eichmann and Mark Peterson of the People's Patriot Project for this week's WeP3 Debrief. Find out what our crew has been working on to help support those who have given some and all to the pursuit of liberty and freedoms across Minnesota and the United States. Watch, listen, and support as we create the beacon of hope and opportunity in today's society that needs its heroes. Are you a veteran, first responder, or a patriot looking for a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and or want to help continue the mission? You have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we want to be the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want to be part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to the WeP3 Debrief. Here's Andrea and Mark letting you know the mission. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Good evening, Andrea Eichmann here with the People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6. We are here as we are every week, bringing you our weekly show / podcast called We Got Your 6 at 6. Every week we bring you a guest. Many times we bring in an artist to share their music, what they're up to, and how things are going. And then we sit down and share all the good and sometimes not so good things that are happening in our world. This week, we have a visit from Stitt, who will share his mission and the mission of Triple Influence. And we're super spoiled to have Jenn Ford joining us for the show tonight, and perhaps Eric, but he doesn't like the camera, so we'll see what happens. Tonight's episode is featured by our sponsors, Catch-22 with Derek Iozio, Operation Texas Strong with Bobby and Peggy Kretzinger. They've given away 200 almost campers and RVs to homeless veterans. You can check them out on Operation Texas Strong right here on Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook. The Boho Hobos Hideaway with Lauren Iozio and Kimmer Gwinner, who has 3 solid books of poetry and 1 coming. And Kimmer, if you're listening, we miss you. God dang it, girl. Let's get you back here. Brian Kenzer is also with us. He supports WeP3 with his business, Smart Living Today. It's about American-made products, being healthy, and it's a stream to help support the People's Patriot Project while you shop. Come on in, support it, and we'll show you a way to make healthy choices coming from an American manufacturer with providing American jobs, and it will also help us right here at the People's Patriot Project. I have got a quick link with Brian's message for you. Tonight is the 4th of August, 2024. We can also be heard on Reads Across America Radio Sundays. That would be tonight, and it's 11 p.m. Eastern Time. It's on iHeartRadio app, the Audacity app, the TuneIn app. Just search the word Wreath and look up Reads Across America with the People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6 underneath it. Thank you to all those who come and view. Thank you to our guests for being here. Thank you to our sponsors. Maybe those of you who have never heard of us before, thank you for stopping in as well. Before we start this week's show, we ask that you take off your hats, stand if you can, and cover your heart, and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job, you guys. What is that was like the most in sync pledge I think we've ever had.
I know, right? We practiced it. We practiced it left, right, left, and we got it. We are live this Sunday evening, August 4th, for the People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6. We used to be called the Patriot Playtime. What on earth? And I don't know why that always just sticks in my head. Amanda, it's always great seeing you. Thank you for being here. We got a new profile pic up there. Atta girl. Mr. Daniels, good to see you. Terry and Mr. Jeremy. Great crew coming in and spreading the word, spreading the love, and getting her done. And we are here live again with the People's Patriot Project. And look at our amazing guests tonight. I mean, Jen, it's always amazing having you here, man. We miss you when we don't get to spend the time we want to spend with you, and which is you're kind of fun to hang around. Not even kind of, a lot of fun to hang around. But Jenn Ford coming out of Texas, and then Mr. Al Stitt, who's coming out of the northern part of Virginia. Thank you for being here, both of you.
You're welcome.
Pleasure.
Well, Jonathan, can you share with us what's in the news right now, brother?
Yes, I can. August is National Wellness Month. The idea is for people to prioritize their own self-care, manage stress levels, and promote healthy routines. Find some healthy routines that you can do on a regular basis that give you some sort of peace and happiness. And always remember to make yourself a priority and treat yourself like you treat the other people that you love. On August 6th, 1945, the U.S. Hiroshima, Japan was struck with a uranium bomb called Little Boy from the B-29 airplane Enola Gay. This would, of course, change the history of warfare as we know it. The atom bomb would kill an estimated 140,000 people in the first use of a nuclear weapon in warfare. The bomb was a uranium fission weapon and the yield was in the region of about 20,000 tons of TNT. 60% of the city was destroyed in the blast and the firestorm that would follow. About 80,000 Japanese lost their lives. It was, sorry, I wrote something that didn't seem to set right with me. It is not the most devastating bombing attack of the war, but the efficiency of the effort involved in sending only one plane on a mission to destroy a city would show all too well the change in thinking of military and political powers, and also change the course of history. Also on August 6th in 1991, Tim Berners-Lee would release files describing his idea for a World Wide Web. WWW would debut as a publicly available service on the internet, and I think we're all living proof of how that changed the course of history as well. August 7th is Purple Heart Day. The original Purple Heart was designated as a badge of merit and was awarded by George Washington in 1782. The honor was presented to soldiers for any singularly meritorious action. George Washington only handed out 3 of these badges himself, and instead authorized his subordinates to issue the badges as they saw fit. The Badge of Merit faded from use, but was revived and relaunched in 1932, this time as the Purple Heart. It honored those wounded in combat as well as recognizing commendable action. In 1944, the policy was tweaked once again and would become the Purple Heart as we know it today, being issued only to those who were wounded or died. The first service member to be given the modern Purple Heart was General Douglas MacArthur for his service in the Pacific Theater during World War II. In total, there have been 1.8 million Purple Hearts awarded over the years, including over 1 million that were awarded to soldiers in World War II alone. And that is the news.
Jonathan, I apologize because last week, well, for if you guys watched the show last week, me and Miss Eichmann might have been in a little bit of a disarray in the fact that we were jet setting. We just got back from Maine and we were actually shooting our show live from the Minneapolis airport, which great facility and all, but probably not the best facility for shooting a podcast. Did we mention anything last week with Dr. Mackey about the course of events historically regarding this week with him? I don't remember doing that.
I don't believe we did.
That would have been interesting. For those who weren't here last week, Dr. Mitchell Mackey is a Japanese American who he spent his life studies in dealing with learning, growing, and understanding where Japanese fit into the history of American history and culture. And it was an amazing guest in his knowledge and where, Japanese who still fought for American or America during World War II, but yet at the same time, we're setting internment camps up with Japanese across our country, but the Japanese that were living here wanted to be part of that mission, and it was a great story. It's just ironic that it's brought up so close and historically realizing those pieces are all put together. But with that said, we got some guests here tonight we need to hear some information about. Mr. Stitt, tell us about who you are, tell us about your history, and what your mission is.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Al Stitt. I was born in Pennsylvania, but traveled usually between Virginia Beach and Groton, Connecticut when I was stationed in the Navy. I was stationed aboard FBM submarine for about 4 years. So they got me away from the small town USA and opened my eyes to a lot of things. And my mission is really to introduce people to a unique system that I've come across that helps us to understand other people's values and help them to communicate more effectively. It was originally designed to help sales. We find that it's applicable to any aspect of life in which a relationship is involved. And in the case of veterans, I know right now with the emphasis and the awareness of the suicide rate, there's a lot of attempts to see what can be done to prevent the suicides. And so, in addition to helping veterans with their business and what other relationships, also like to be able to reach out to more to utilize the system and maybe just give them a forum to talk to, somebody to bounce some ideas off, let them open up to. A lot of times in talking with different agencies, different groups, I find that sometimes they're apprehensive about seeking help. They're afraid of what other people might say. Oh, well, Joe Blow was, talk to this counselor or that counselor, and they're afraid of what kind of connotation that might create. So, in addition to just the regular civilian population for business and relationships, also like to reach out to veterans that are going through some challenges, be it dealing with injuries or PTSD, the other effects of deployments, et cetera, et cetera. So I was very fortunate. I spent 9 years and, it's no injury at all. And then look at the warriors coming back in the last bunch of years, missing eyes and legs and limbs and stuff. And just trying to, to give back to what they sacrificed for our country.
Well, we appreciate you so much for that give back. And again, it is part of our, we call it our pledge, but bottom line is we know why we get to do this. We come here every week. We get a chance to have a conversation. We get to talk about what we want to talk about, when we want to talk about, how we want to talk about it. And we need to give honor to those that have served. We know why we get to do this. Thank you to the service members and first responders that have committed their time, sweat, blood, limbs, their family, and their life to give us the freedoms that we have that allow us to do what we do daily. And ultimately, my little happy, joy, extension of that is we all get to lay our big fat heads on the pillows of freedoms every single day, and not giving a care about why we get this until we're in trouble and then we dial 911 or we're trying to figure out why. So thank you, brothers and sisters that have sacrificed all those pieces of your entity and of your life to give us these chances to sit back. And it's awesome to sit back. And over the years, now we're on episode 212. Wow. The boots on the ground organizations that have come forward to share their mission and just be able to know that there are people that have the backs of these men and women. Sometimes it doesn't seem like that. And I think it's important. It's our campaign. This green won't go unseen. And so welcome to the family. Thank you for being here tonight. Jenn Ford, where the hell you been?
Sorry, I was asking Eric to bring me a jacket. I'm sitting right by the AC vent. Freezing. I'm doing good. Got a new house.
You're freezing in Texas?
Yeah, we have
inside because they mark it down to like 65 degrees.
We've got two fellow Texan musicians. Mr. Shannon Book is in the chats, blowing it up.
Hensley on here. I love John Hensley. He was at
John Hensley's.
He was amazing. At the Camp Southern Ground with me last year in October. Now I look like it's November in Texas because my husband brought me a coat.
What does November in Minnesota look like, Jenn Ford?
Oh my God. Really freaking cold. And no amount of clothing I could put on to stay warm when you guys brought me up there. I mean, I really thought it was actually October. I thought
it was the October 23rd is what it was.
Felt like January 2nd in Alaska. That's what it felt like.
That's not fair. You can't say that. That's not right. That's not accurate.
You were wearing shorts.
Right. It was that time of year. It was short season. First time we got to lay pause on Jenn Ford was an event we had up here called, which one was it? We've had so many. The Come Out of the Storm event for a first responder whose house had burnt down. And we had the amazing talent of Jenn Ford, Doug Lane, Dom Kurz, BJ Leggett. We had Stephen
Jared,
John, and we wanted
Jared?
all of you there. It was great. It was fabulous. You
Jared,
did get to
forget Jared.
yes, Jared, Jen's guitar. Miss Amanda Brown, good to see you. Hey, hey, new friend that we met in Maine this last weekend. Her and her husband, amazing individuals who got mission going down in Nashville or down in Tennessee. Let's be accurate here. But it has been an amazing ride with Miss Ford here and her crew, and we're just glad. What have you just bought a new house?
I bought a new house like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
A lot has happened. Do you want me to just give you the rundown for 20?
Yeah, let's get it.
Okay. I've been sober for a year now, no alcohol, as of July 14th. My son, Eli, is also sober. You've heard me talk about him before for over a year. And he's a professional fighter now, and he has his first official fight on his card with his boxing card August 31st. Our youngest son is in college playing football at Texas State as a freshman. Our oldest daughter is about to get married in 2 weeks, and she's going to have a baby on Christmas. I'm going to be a granny, hot granny. Let's see. We bought our house. My husband has a new business, and we also have new band members. Almost all the members in my band are veterans now. I have a veteran sound guy, a veteran Marine Corps retired bass player, Navy drummer, and there's another guy. Our sound guy is Army as well. So I've decided to working with other military folks is a whole lot easier and more fun.
Why do you think that is?
Because they know how to be leaders and be part of a team at the same time. Because they don't mind having female leadership and accepting direction, but just understanding that there's bigger reasons why I do things. They also pitch in and are on time most of the time, and there's not a lot of ego involved. It's about doing the best we can, and they know how to represent themselves in front of the public, and they don't act like jerks in front of people. They save that before they even get to the show. I've never seen the group of guys I have now be a jerk on stage. So I'm feeling pretty good about who I've got around me, and they've also helped me a lot with my guitar playing, because I don't know if you guys realize I'm playing guitar on stage now for 2 years, thanks to BJ Leggett pushing me off the cliff. So I had lots of encouragement from lots of people, and BJ Leggett gave me his guitar in February of 2022, and by October I was playing on stage. So I've been playing on stage now for almost 2 years, and nobody's kicking me off the stage. Actually, I think it's improved the performance. So lots of cool stuff.
With someone that works as hard as you do, I don't think there's anyone that has room to be moving Jenn Ford and or what she's doing off any stage. So you are and have been the example of how to do it, how to get the job done, and how to present the product the way it should be presented. And I'm excited to hear about the people you have in your life now and the things that you're getting done. I find it rather hard to work with veterans, my opinion. And the reason why is because they're always the tip of the spear wanting to get stuff done, and they never slow down for a second. And no, it's all good, and we enjoy it. And you know what? It's not a competition what we're trying to get done. And I'm not trying to upstage or upbeat or any of our brothers and sisters that are working in this field or in this mission or in this capacity. But it's awesome to have the challenge that they are, because there's a lot of great content creators out there that are working hard and doing amazing. And it's a challenge for us to make sure that we are at the top doing what we're doing. And I appreciate the challenge that those brothers and sisters give us. And so we had the awesome opportunity to sit and break bread with the only Adam Bird this last week here in Minnesota. He had to drop his wife off at the airport, and it was an amazing morning of eating some breakfast and drinking a couple cups of coffee, just a couple. And it's just a great day, a refreshing challenge.
Wife's
And
name's Jennifer, isn't it?
what's that?
Adam's wife's named Jennifer, right? She's a nurse.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
met them. I met them when we were at that.
Yes, you
like
did.
that.
Oh, that would be an interesting picture to pull up. I got a great picture of you, me, and Adam together, and the amazing Ozzy Ramos and the veteran. I want to say it correctly. The Veterans Ball.
Yes.
And just the acknowledgement of the work that all three of us have done, and what a great event that was last year in Washington D.C. Excited to. We'll see. We had the conversation about that as well. We're going to put that in the works and see if we can make that a mainstay for us. But it's awesome having you here. What I know we got 4 songs queued. Jonathan was yelling at us, like literally yelling at us. Said we don't do 4 songs, guys. What song would you like to lead off with, Jen?
She asked for 4 songs.
She's always breaking the rules.
And who's in charge? Duh. Oh, sorry. I didn't hear Jonathan yell. I think he was yelling at you, Peterson. This just sounds like a you.
I mean,
that sounds reasonable, Andrea.
Well, I sent all songs that I have either made the music video for or I had a part in directing. So, and I have a bunch of videos that I've either produced, directed, or had some say in. But I like, let's do Nutshell, because I interpreted it as a good song for veterans to reach out to each other. It's to encourage vets who've already transitioned down the military to help new vets transition and get involved in the community. And that's one of the reasons why I like having guys in the band around me that are veterans, because I want to show other veterans who have other interests that, like, if you find your group of people that has similar passions that have the veteran past, there's a way to merge the two, and there's a way to get along and still have your identity as a soldier or airman or a Marine or whatever, but you also have your identity in the things that you like to pursue after the military. So I think that's a good song to lead with, our version of Nutshell.
I love it. I'm stalling for 1 second just because, but again,
we actually filmed it at the VFW in Longview, Texas, and it features veterans all throughout that are from East Texas. There's over 200,000 veterans in East Texas, which is a large area, but that's a lot of vets in a rural country community that are out here. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I did that too, to just kind of raise awareness about how many people have actually served in this region.
absolutely outstanding. This is Jenn Ford, Nutshell.
up at the time. And yet I fight, and yet I fight this battle all alone. No one to cry to, no place to call home. Repeating in my head, if I can't be my own, I'd feel better dead.
That is Jenn Ford in nutshell. And what you're not going to see, or what you're not going to see on the podcast, is the amazing messages that the people that are in the video are sharing with the rest of the world. As far, Jen, can you share any background on that and what is actually being done in that video?
Yeah, the video is about actually a female a female veteran coming home and basically going through finding her rhythm in as being a mother, a stay-at-home mom, a mother that works from home, and me just being, just reliving my experience through her when I came home from the military. It was tough being a single parent with small children. And although she wasn't a single parent, it's still tough just to be a regular person. And instead of isolating herself, she reached out for friends, and I encouraged that. And then we just hung out with other vets that had similar experiences and found our people and just showed off different stages of that and conversations and how healing can come through connection.
We love our network. We love the people in our network. It is, I don't know what the right word is. If I find a place of comfort, women do have to do it a little bit differently. like you said, there's the glass roof that's, in our world that tends to hold people back, or specifically females. And you in the music world, you as a veteran, you as have gone through some of these hurdles, and I just love hearing the message. I love watching Jenn Ford do what she does, and I just appreciate the message that you put out there. And I could get in trouble having this conversation because we see it on the other side where a lot of times we hear the message, well, the world is holding me back. And I can honestly say I don't see anything holding Jenn Ford back. And so, way to be that tip of the spear, be that voice, and literally be the queen on the chessboard, and making sure that the voice of women, specifically female veterans, musician, and just the strong woman that you are. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I would like to say that I think that there are plenty of reasons that veterans can complain about what happens when you get out. It's a very difficult thing to navigate, and even there are countless resources. They don't always appear immediately when you need them, and so I think the first resource, or the first thing you need to address when you get out of the service, is finding a community or a family that will offer you support, so then you can pursue all of the programs and do the work that it takes to work through all of the things that you go through in the service, because a lot of us learn how to compartmentalize our life and put it in a pretty little box and put it on a shelf. We can get the mission done. And then when you get out service, you have all of these boxes that you need to unpack from various things that happened. And you can leave them there, but the longer you leave them there, the worse they get. Just like me moving into this house, we have a whole room of Narnia back there in the back of stuff that was in storage for like 15 years. And no matter how much I hate going in there, eventually I'm going to have to go in there and unpack that stuff and toss it or put it someplace in this house. But I think that that's the key, is finding the way to unpack your life when you get out of the service, and understanding where the placement for everything needs to be. And many times as a female, I wasn't readily identified as a veteran when I would walk into a place, because I would have my small children with me, and I've got my hair done, my makeup on, and I'm like at Lowe's asking for a veteran's discount 15 years ago, when they weren't quite as savvy as they are now in identifying vets. And people would look at me and say, well, do you have your husband's ID card? And I'm like, no, because I'm the veteran. I have my ID card, and give me my 15% off or whatever. Thank you very much. And I'm going to park in veteran parking too, because these kids are being buttholes. So,
well, I appreciate that you bringing that up, because I mean,
Jacob had to go with me one time to a mammogram appointment when he was 4 years old, and there were no places for me to leave my son at the time. Like, he had to go with me, and they didn't have a place in the waiting room for me to put a 4-year-old. So things like that, I think that male veterans will not be able to identify with, are pretty common for female vets. Like, I wish they're doing a much better job now, I would say, especially at Overton Brooks. They've got an entire women's facility now, instead of just one floor, one office that they had 15 years ago when I first got out. And they've got an entire building separate from everybody else, where they actually have counseling services and wellness appointments and all of these different places, because females do have more specific needs other than just being a soldier. And sometimes things like that are things that you wouldn't think of. It's like childbirth and endometriosis, stuff like that occurs for many, many female soldiers. Not to get too gross on you guys, because I'm sure I start seeing Jonathan glaze over, like she said. So, oh
Right.
God, please don't talk about science and lady parts. So,
So it's
sorry
really
about
interesting. It's really interesting that you mentioned that, because I'm part of they call it a community veteran engagement board, and it's a collection of organizations and companies that offer services to veterans. But yet, I teach self-defense and different classes also, and have a lot of women attendees for those. And there's certain characteristics, even in the shape of the female body, as far as what different gear to wear, let's say. And that's something that doesn't come up in these CVEB meetings, women's specific needs. And that's one thing we're trying to do, is to compose a directory of different services that are available to veterans moving into the area. But so far, and I mean, there are at least 50% of the attendees, other members of the group, that are women, but yet I've never heard anything like that voiced. I don't think about mammograms, or going in and, oh geez, I've got a young child with me too. What do you do with him or her? I know in different places that I go to, I was at a car show a couple years ago, and there's a guy separating from the service. He said, and this one of the state agencies had a tent there advertising their services. And he came up to me and said, well, I got into your website and I got to a certain point, but then I didn't know what to do after that. And so that's a big problem. The veterans, they know what they need, but they don't know where to go to get those kind of services. And that's a big thing there. If that's what we're trying to do, is to compile some information to give them a start. They've got a contact in the group. Well, that contact might not have the information that he or she needs, but we can direct them, instead of them having to go and talk to 6 or 7 different people.
Right.
Because a lot of times that gets frustrating and they just give up.
There's a new facility, probably in the last 3 years, that's in our area, in Tyler, Texas, which is a larger town of 80,000 to 100,000 people. And they have small towns around it that everybody goes to Tyler for shopping or going out to eat or whatever, hospital care. And they have a VA clinic there. But there's a nonprofit there called Camp V that was just built in the last 2 or 3 years, I think during COVID. And they actually have a women's center there that I visited. And they have socials. They have actually veterans officers that are from the county that are actually stationed there at that office. So if people need help with their claims and stuff, they can go get assistance there. It's like a one-stop shop. And they have counseling services there. They have a women's entire sort of little cabin to the side where they have baby showers and stuff like that. And I love that, because that wasn't the type of thing that was afforded to me when I got out. I felt like I just got 100% disability rating in April, and I've been working for years. I've been sitting at 60%, but I think that if I had had a lot more understanding of the process and other women to bounce off, then I would have been able to address some problems that I hadn't addressed until this last round of claims. And some of those were female issues that I had in the service. So I would say it's definitely improved. And I'm glad that people are talking about it more, because women are super important to the military, and also the cornerstone of just our future of our nation when it comes to babies and stuff like that, and we need to be taken care of. So whole health, mental, spiritual, financial health, all of those things are super important, and I'm glad that you guys are talking about that.
I don't want to make light, because it's a very serious conversation. There's a couple subjects that I would like to talk about throughout that piece. But I have to ask, Jen, do you have a live-in Chippendale dancer living at your house? Because I just watched a whole lot of sexy walk by. Is that?
Actually, yes.
Yes.
Military did not issue me my own Chippendale dancer. I had to go out and find him on social media like a normal person 9 years ago. And I've been a lucky woman.
There. That's a whole lot of hotness right there, Jen. Yeah. I mean,
it's hard to live with this.
We've known the Fords for a minute. and I know I'm not using the right. I know it's not.
Oh,
Last name
right
Ford.
one. It's the right one.
I introduce myself as Mr. Ford all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Mr.
Yeah, he's
They've
Mr.
been family
Ford.
for a chunk of time, and we know that Jenn Ford doesn't get to do what Jenn Ford does without the amazing support of Eric. And so, again, we always talk about the glue that holds it all together, the ones that didn't ask for the mission but are part of the mission. And you're that person, Eric, and we appreciate you, brother.
I'm the Renee of this.
Yeah, he's Renee. I'm Celine Dion. That's what he says.
I'm the Renee of this. I'm the Renee of this action.
He didn't have a whole. He didn't really have an instructional guide on how to deal with a former.
There is no instructional guide for Jenn Ford. It's bless you, brother. Bless you.
He's a lot of fun most of the time.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah. We'll see.
I just want to know, is there any like footage of Eric after he may fall asleep after an event at night or anything like that? Is there any footage? Yeah. Because I know that you guys ambushed me with some footage one evening, and those are in the hidden film relics of life. But
let me tell you about this jerk over here. She will videotape you.
Yeah, Eric, I'm aware of this.
At your most vulnerable state.
I understand, brother. I understand.
When you least expect it.
When you think you're sleeping,
and you're sleeping also soundly, but I don't know what's happening, of course.
Been there, done that.
I see the video and I'm growling.
I'm gonna say it's deserved because while he is sleeping soundly, I am wide awake because the noises that are coming out of this hot grizzly bear sound otherworldly and disturbing.
It's a grizzly bear fight.
It's pretty bad. It's like the cartoon version of any grizzly bear you've ever seen asleep on any Looney Tunes film ever.
With disease.
Like, yeah. Except it's like,
Yeah. Eric, I honestly do feel your pain. I know there is a TikTok out there involving me during my most vulnerable moment in life, and these two yahoos up here thought it would be appropriate to
those were chosen moments, sir, that you chose.
Chosen by whom?
When you imbibed all of those many drinks and refused to go to a bed like a reasonable
it was
person.
Exhaustion and me cooking you steaks that got me to that spot.
Well,
and
no, that was not the same night. Sorry.
you know what? This is the end of the conversation, and we got to move on with the rest of the show.
Trying to control the narrative.
Spin your narrative.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news. Fake news.
Whatever you want it to be.
Mr. Stitt, you had the conversation in your last interjection of some of the pieces with Miss Ford in regards to the number of. You didn't say this, but I'm saying this. There are 46,000 organizations in our country that say that they help veterans and first responders. And it is our own people, in my opinion, that have muddied the waters for our veterans, regardless of what their needs are. Females, all of them, where it's hard for them to be able to decipher where exactly do you reach out. The VA is not the answer because the VA is specific to medical needs, and of course your local VSO should be able to help with some resources and stuff like that in your local area. But we talk about 46,000 organizations. That's not even talking about your federal sponsored VA and other components that are there. How do we fix that? How do we remedy that? How do we get that information out? How do we let the people know this is what you need? Because again, a lot of the time, our veterans and first responders, we say first responders. This is specific kind of veterans tonight. they don't know what they don't know, and then all of a sudden you stumble onto an issue. Is like, is there something out there for me? Do you have an answer for that?
You know, when I joined that organization that I mentioned, that the Community Veterans Engagement Board, I thought that was going to do what you're mentioning, because that's very frustrating for me. And I also work in real estate, and I was trying to find a new building for one of the MVents posts when their lease ran out. And I called down to the DC area. I called down to Blacksburg, which is southwestern Virginia. Ended up calling up to Martinsburg VA Hospital. And I didn't even need that. You know, it wasn't a necessity. But every time I call one number, well, I can't help you, but try this one or this person. And so I'm being bounced around like a ping pong ball. And again, that's not something that we needed, you know, like medical attention, something like that, or pay problems. And so it's very frustrating just from that standpoint. And that's we have, I don't know, 3 or 4 government, well, state agencies represented here, and they've got their little canned selection of services they provide and people to talk to. A lot of them are not veterans, not to, you know, to talk disparagingly about non-veterans by any means, but and they don't seem to be wanting to reach out or, you know, try anything else. Well, this is what my boss gave me to work with, so that's what we're going to work with. And at the same time, they don't, you know, they talk among themselves, kind of like the Oscars or Emmys or whatever, the different Hollywood award programs. They congratulate each other for the job they're doing, and yet they're really not reaching the people that need to be reached. When you get out of service, and I don't know what it is like in Army or Air Force and like that, but I know for the Navy, you get a separation, some meetings, and they tell you about, well, you have this benefit, that benefit, and whatnot. But it's not unique to the area that you move back to. You know, so, and I'm in, you know, Bodunk, Western Pennsylvania for my house, address of residence, but I was moving to upstate New York because that's where I had my job. And there's nothing, you know, nothing to really where they come out and say, well, okay, we're going up to Binghamton, so here you need to talk with so-and-so or this officer, here's a number, and like that. And so that's why, you know, out of frustration, that's like you say, you know, we're at the spearhead of activities. We need to do this, we want to get it done. We don't want to talk to 12 different people in the pursuit of doing it. And so that's why I'm reaching out. I started this service with the company that I have to try to reach out to veterans. Right now, I'm getting set up with a local facility. It's called Willing Warriors. It's a facility out in the country, and they bring patients out from Walter Reed Hospital that are recovering from injuries and wounds and illnesses and whatnot, and give them and their families, or maybe combat buds, a place to spend in the country for a week or so. We always put on a car show every year to raise money, and they do a bunch of other fundraising events too that I'm not associated with. But I'm trying to get inroads, in fact, introduce this program to them to talk with the veterans, because I use that in business groups where within 90 seconds, I know the values, I know why other people make the decisions they make. And so it's very unique. I wish I'd had this 30 years ago when I was in the service or in a different, and I used to teach programs for military branches and government agencies. And sometimes it's just like, you know, trying to be on a concrete wall to get through to some of these people. Now I'm trying to get folks to open up. Hey, contact me. Let's talk. I mentioned about the suicide rate. Last year, or the year before, I don't know if any of you heard about a Mission Daybreak project, where it was kind of an RFP for ways to prevent veteran suicide. Well, we've got like 250 people in this organization that I belong to with this technology, but there are 1,800 competitors in there. And a lot of them are using fancy terms and whatnot. And some of them, you know, they're blowing hot air out of their, you know, the orifice that you usually sit on. But because they use fancy terminology, well, they got the awards. Now I just see where they're coming out for a rebid, or they're making other funds available. Well, maybe we didn't use the right criteria to judge for that. Now we're looking for other input. Well, that's great, but in the meantime, while they're playing their little government bureaucracy games, there's still veterans out there that need help. And so I really appreciate that. And I should have done this at the very beginning, and forgive me for doing that. I apologize. Thanking Andrea for inviting me to be on the program tonight, to give me this opportunity to get the word out. You know, I'm not nationwide. When you get on my Facebook page, I don't have a lot of posts on there because I'm trying to get out and talk to the people that need the services. And so I don't know how many folks are, you know, listening in, tuning into the program tonight. Hopefully, I get the impression it's going to be all over the country, and maybe that'll open up some channels. You know, if I can't be there in person, perhaps I can refer somebody that's near there. You know, somebody that's more local. But at least to, if somebody knows about a veteran who's going through some problems, and maybe some serious problems that they're not willing to really admit to anybody. Again, it might be a little different. We go in, well, you know, I can't say I was never over in one of the sandboxes over in the Mideast, but at least being deployed. And I describe that very simply as being away from anybody and everything that means anything to you. And so whether you're underwater for a couple months, or when you're dodging bullets, or watching out for incoming, at least everybody has that commonality that's served. And so right there, it's sometimes it's easier to open up about, you know, some different things. And with this technology here, this methodology, it's I know I've got a psychologist friend, and he said using this system gives his as much information about a patient or a client, a customer, as 2 sessions ordinarily give him. So 2 sessions, well, that's 2 hours, maybe over 2 weeks, and probably a lot of money too. And so in 90 seconds, boom, I'm ready to go. And I can start talking a little bit more to make them more comfortable, make them feel at ease, have them open up. And again, if I can't, and there are many problems I can solve, I admit that. Like Dr. Eastwood said in one of his documentaries, a man's got to know his limitations. So, but at the same time, like we learned back, I guess, a Navy philosopher, and they have an Army philosopher, Air Force philosopher, etc. The next best thing to knowing an answer is knowing where to get the answer. And so, you know, as more people get involved, I've got other resources that I can refer people to get them the help that they need, so that they do not become a statistic.
Well, we constantly make this claim and statement, and the fact that there's a lot of our brothers and sisters that are out there that are they're prideful. I mean, let's face it, when you are a leader, when you are driven, when you are the force, and you are driving, and you want to stay pure to the mission and the drive, you don't necessarily look back on you and say, hey, I need help, I need resources, I need this. And when they are and do choose to reach out, that might be a once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, and we need we need to set the hook now. If they're going to take the nibble and say, you know what, I finally need help, but if we've got this drop smoke scenario where they're batting and swinging at stuff that they don't even know,
right?
And we've created that process. I know all of our brains, all of our missions, all of our thoughts, all of our ideas are in the right direction, but we really do need to have a better consortium of information, a place that can, you know, easier to toggle and say, this is the help I need. And we haven't established that yet. We have to figure that piece out. Where it's a one-stop shop scenario. A lot of times we get in trouble because we don't focus on just PTSD. We don't just focus on, you know, the suicide thing. We try to gobble up everything that we can, and people are like, how can you sustain that? It is unsustainable. Don't get me wrong. It's tough. You cannot host all masters. It's impossible to do. But at the same time, we don't have that one-stop shop scenario that attracts the veterans, and for us, the first responders, that says one stop, we can find the solution. But this is what I can tell you. And again, we try to make our show just about our boots on the ground. Mr. Al Stitt and Triple Influence and Jenn Ford and her music thing. But we do say at the People's Patriot Project, if you reach out to us, we don't, what's the words I want to say, Andrea? I'm stuck. We don't refer. We don't refer you. We will go and find the solution for you with the network of people that we have. Al, I think you're going to be an essential key to this, to be honest with you. And you're going to be getting a lot of phone calls from us.
Welcome that opportunity. Definitely. It's just so frustrating.
Amanda says, pass the buck.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the curation of this show happened because we're having people reach out to the People's Patriot Project for support, and we have a committed. Once you reach into our network, we a minimal of 22 minutes, and I don't know why we came up with 22 minutes. It had nothing to do with the number 22, but the people that we were reaching out to, that was reaching out to us, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you answered the phone." I'm like, "Yeah." Tell us who's not answering the phone. The stories that we get. Well, they're not returning emails. They're not returning this. They're not. I got a 15% postcard to buy a T-shirt, and I'm like, yeah, we're here to help. If there is anyone in your network, in your contact list that needs a support, is a veteran and or a first responder or a spouse or a family member of someone that has been a veteran or first responder, reach out to us. We will find the support you're looking for. We've got, I say that, and then we've got one of our dear friends on here tonight that has been struggling with his MS. That's been attributed to his exposures in the Middle East. And it breaks my heart because we try to find the supports for that. And I can't tell you where. Jen, do you want to tell the world where you live? There's a person here asking that question. I don't know if that's appropriate, but.
Do you want my address? Because I'm not going to give you that.
No. Well, I bet I can get that.
Guns if you come to my house.
Do you live in Longview?
No, not anymore.
No. Okay. All right. Not anymore.
I live outside of Longview. I live in a small little town called Winona. 683 people.
Winona. We have a Winona in Minnesota too. That's crazy. I bet there's probably every name of every town ever in the history of life is in Texas. I guarantee it.
Yeah, we have a Italy, we have a Moscow, Paris, Palestine, Athens.
But you can't say it like Palestine.
No, you have to say Palestine because it's in East Texas. Palestine, actually like that.
Palestine.
You gotta go to Palestine and get some of them tomatoes.
Tighter.
Yeah.
Tighter.
Yes.
Now a Paris too.
Paris.
Miss Amanda Brown, we met last weekend. She,
yeah. I think, which MC is it, Amanda? Because I know some of those Patriot riders are out there, and they come.
It is. I wish I was a better human being.
I bet she's fixing to tell me. Yeah, I know a lot of the MCs out there. We lived in Longview and Tyler for a while. Yep. Probably know them. Yep, I've heard of them.
Paul, do you know where Savage, Minnesota is?
Yes.
One of my best friends lives.
I'm laughing because it's pretty close to me.
Yeah.
Next time we come to Minnesota, we gotta bring Eric.
No one ever goes there, just so you know.
Savage.
Miss Jenn Ford.
What
are you working on right now?
This house. This is our big thing right now. We're on kind of coast mode. I have I've started to karaoke DJ, which is a hidden talent I didn't know I had. I should have done this a lot sooner. because apparently I'm good at being a goofball, and people are paying me to do it now.
What?
Twice a week.
Who would have
I'm
thought that?
very highly sought after for being a weirdo. Yes, so I still play 2 to 3 shows a week, but I'm not playing 5 shows a week anymore because it's taxing to sing 3 to 4 hours a night, a couple times a week. 2 or 3 times a week is about my limit. So karaoke kind of offsets that, and I still get to go out, but I don't have to set up or anything. It's low pressure, and it pays me better than substitute teaching. Takes the same amount of people skills.
So Jenn,
So you have to wait your turn.
Same
Yes,
styles.
my favorite. No, I don't have favorites. You cannot throw the microphone. Don't be ugly. You've already gone 6 times in a row. You can't go any more times in a row. So
Jenn, did you have I was wondering about the crew that you use to do your video.
Yes.
Is that are those what veteran buds, so to speak, or is that a core group in your locale? Or
many of my videos are self-produced, and I have a degree in multimedia production, a bachelor's degree. So I've done all my graphics pretty much my whole career, and then I've done some videos. But when I did my Gold Dust Woman video all by myself with some help from actors, very famous actors from East Texas. But I have a friend that owns a production company called Surface Wave Media in Shreveport. He's not a veteran, but he's very pro veteran, pro military, and our veteran production company hired him to do the videos for us.
So are you in contact with any recording studios?
Yes.
By chance? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I know a lot of recording studios. I do session vocals. I have connections if you need help with that.
Oh no, my son-in-law is partner owner of a record company, or whatever you call them nowadays, in Nashville. And so that's what I was wondering. So that's something right there too. And I don't, it's one of those things. Oh yeah, well, damn Al's referring somebody else to us now. Played the high school band or something. But somebody that I'm really impressed with, and I was really impressed with what I saw in that video of yours, that I've recommended a few people to him, and they've worked with him. Some have worked out or turned into very lucrative contracts for them. So I just wanted to check about that.
Well, I just have a lot of friends, and trying to make a lot of connections out here because we live in a rural area. So if you want to send anything my way, I know people that need work, or I'd be happy to work on a project. I do. I forgot to tell you guys, 4 of my songs are going to be on a movie.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh.
Yes, on Netflix.
Heard first here. No, is it first here? We'll say first here on the WeP3. We got it.
Yeah, I think they're in pre-production right now with the film, but it's a film about Alzheimer's and dementia, and there's going to have some of my songs on there, and a new song. So
love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Amanda, you feel like you're the only one commenting. We have 8 channels going at the same time, just to let you know. Your comments, sorry folks, if this hurts your feelings, are some of the better engaged comments. So we're going to drop your stuff out there, and we appreciate you. I hope you do make this your mainstay for Sunday nights, and make sure you invite your friends and family to come check it out, so that we can continue to grow what we're doing. Love what we're doing. And Al, with that conversation you just had in regards of, we have to build the network. We have to build the relationships. If you've got those connections, we're willing to have those conversations. Me and Andrea had been blessed to head to Nashville. Jeremy and Amanda live down there by Nashville, but we get to go to that space about a dozen times a year right now to build that network. We've got hundreds of recording artists that are veterans and first responders in that space. And we're just going to continue to drive this thing until all the pieces fit together nicely. And that's just building relationships. So we will be having that conversation now.
That's great. It seems like very open-minded to working with other people. And it's something that I've encountered where a lot of the, I guess, the official agencies, so to speak, are not. They've got, they're in a little bubble, and that's enough for them. And it's not accomplishing what they say that they're doing.
It is, we've been blessed by this network, and we're going to continue to be blessed by this network. And I get giddy and chill bumps and just the amazing growth that we've seen over the last 5 years of what we've been able to do, including with Miss Jenn Ford. And again, we talked briefly before the show. We've got roughly 180 musicians across the country that are doing this, and we want to promote. Jen's not our only superstar out there. And it sucks because we'd like to gobble up all of her time, but
Favorite though, I know it.
we want to spend all of our time with her, but we have to sadly give it to people like Dom Kurz, who I know Jenn Ford loves, and BJ Leggett, who Jenn Ford loves, and these other amazing talents that are out there.
It's not
Jenn.
sadly though. Silly.
No, it's not. It's not sadly, but at the same time, it's I don't know how to say it. When you're building relationships and you want to give yourself to everyone and continue to grow, it sucks because you have to sometimes not have. You got to have a global perspective rather than what I want to do. I mean, and that's what it comes down to. Jenn,
Yes.
what song you want next?
Which one? The video? Are you asking me?
Well, is your name Jenn?
Yes, but I didn't understand what you said. Let's show Gold Dust Woman because I actually produced this video. I made, recorded, directed, and came up with this video. It's Stevie Nicks. It's a Stevie Nicks song, but on my last album, Americana Radio, I covered all American songwriters, and this is one of my favorite songs. It was the preview to the album that came out in 2023, and I play it at the beginning of every show now because I love that song.
I am having a squirrel moment. I'm just going to say it right now, but we'll get to Gold Dust Woman. Amanda Brown. I think Jenn Ford, we'll give you guys a moment together in the space. I think Jenn Ford would be a great pinup. I think you would.
Peterson.
You can try to put me in a dress.
Oh man, I'll get you in some
I have
sort
a
of
dress
50s
on.
dress.
I'll put a dress on for my husband every now and then. I have a dress on.
I think Jenn Ford would be a great battling Betty's. I'm just saying. Yes. And Frank the Myth, are there more veteran musicians or coffee company? That's a great question.
Tons of veteran musicians. I know a
The
bunch.
musicians are better, and they're great. Coffee, I don't know. The coffee's coffee. We'll figure that one out. I know that's going to piss somebody off, but that's okay. We'll be okay. Until you have WeP3 coffee in your mug, try them all. Try them all. This is Jenn Ford with Gold Dust Woman.
Rock on, gold dust woman. Take your silver spoon to your
That is Jenn Ford and Gold Dust Woman. And they're frozen again. No, they're not frozen again because Eric's moving around, and we know. Come on, Jen. Come on. Jen, are you still drinking your pickle juice?
Yes, I am. I got a fresh box.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a. Would you like for me to give a commercial of
Yes.
my sponsor?
Yes.
Here we go. This episode of WeP3 Patriots, what is it? We got your 6 at 6. It's sponsored by Bob's Pickle Pops from Texas, Dripping Springs, Texas. They send me a box, several cases actually a year. And I don't know how this honor was bestowed upon me other than I'm a goofball and I don't know. They love me.
It seems Eric likes it as well.
He does like it. I think like 2 or 3 years ago we were outside in the heat all summer long, and I kept saying, I need a pickle pop. Like every like on every video, I was like, give me a pickle pop, I got a cramp. And then all of a sudden they started sending me all these pickle pops.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And Mr. Stitt, what is next for you and Triple Influence?
Well, most immediately, as I mentioned, I'm trying to get some inroads to meet with some folks down at the facility, the Willing Warriors, to get this program introduced to some family groups. They also have some veteran group discussions that are coming up, and I'd like to be able to show them how the program works with a group of folks together like that. And maybe get to some important points quicker than they normally would, without rushing things. And so to get that adopted, and just look at other ways to contact with veterans, to help them in their journey, face the challenges that they're facing, deal with them effectively, and go from there. So I really appreciate, as I mentioned, you having me on the program tonight to be able to get the word out to as many viewers, listeners as you have this evening.
We have a question. Where is Willing Warriors located?
It's in Haymarket, Virginia.
Okay. Awesome.
Now, you don't have the specific address, but if you type in Willing Warriors Haymarket, it should bring you up right to the facility.
We can do some quick research and get that up there so people know. We want to make sure, again, that people have access to as many resources as possible, and that the more mentions that we have for people and organizations and getting their stuff out there helps the mission. And we push and drive to make sure. I mean, people ask a lot of times, why doesn't the People's Patriot Project do this? And the why is we kind of view ourselves, some people call it a toolbox, we call it a tackle box, because we are all fishing for a different species, a different, you got military sexual trauma, you have alcoholism, you have drug addiction, you have female veterans, we have military sexual trauma, you have, the list goes on and on and on. And that's why we've never specialized in a specific space, because we want to make sure we catch as many in the net, the net, and B, we have to have the right tackle or bait to accommodate. And that's these other organizations who have a different mindset, who have a different passion, a drive, and a different way to approach it. And we don't want to exclude any of those. And so we thank you, Mr. Stitt, for you being here tonight. And again, whatever we can do to support and or push and drive, and we want to put you an opportunity to be the beacon as well, and make sure that people see this screen doesn't go unseen. It's an oxymoron to the camouflage. If you look at our logo, I almost said go-go, and I don't know why, but our logo, it is a pixelated digital black camo with a oxymoronic green that you will see. And it's time. It's time to let all of our brothers and sisters, I get it. They want to have their anonymity, and so we get that piece. But the mission that you've already been in play in needs to be recognized. If you have served your country, if you have served your community, you're owed, in my opinion. The People's Patriot Project opinion is you are owed because you've given part of yourself to better our society, better our community, better our country. And so you're not being selfish. Come get it. You deserve it. We appreciate you. Thank you. And we're going to continue to drive this mission and this passion. And we're glad to have Triple Influence on board, and we'll continue to keep going. Thank you, Amanda. We appreciate you. And of course, Amanda I don't know what cigarette pants are, just for the record. Someone is going to have to. I don't think I own a pair, for the record. So we're just going to have to, whatever those are, we'll figure those out.
We can try.
Jenn Ford, what's next for you, sister?
Well, it's football season, so that means we'll be watching a lot of football. Going down to watch Jake sit on the bench because it's his freshman year, but we'll be going down to watch.
Red shirt.
Yeah, he's a red shirt this year. We have the grandbaby on the way and a wedding for his oldest daughter. And what else? I'm having surgery. I'm having surgery on both my hands in December, and that's been kind of scary. I've been needing the surgery for a couple years, but I've kind of put it off as long as I could until we got into the house. But I've got carpal tunnel in both hands, so I'll be having surgery in December when it's kind of a slower time, and hopefully writing a new album soon.
You better be ready for January because, I mean, we got our ice fishing tournament that we keep threatening to bring you up for. And
when is that? Because where are we going to? Vegas?
Vegas.
Yeah. When is that?
Cancel the Vegas trip. Don't.
February usually.
It won't be fun.
Okay, February.
Vegas won't be fun. No one has fun.
We're coming to the fishing thing.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. Get to see old Minnesota.
We're going to Hawaii for our anniversary. Oh, we've been married as of July 9 or 7 years. 7 years. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we had our anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Amanda, we have not heard of our secret date of the event that we're come down for, so we're working on that piece.
Not because Peterson doesn't keep asking, but
No,
there's no answer.
Come on. The musicians are busy. They don't got time for me. I don't have time for them half the time either. But whatever. Gosh, it just seems like we listen to a song, but it's kind of Jen's turn again.
Well, what else did I send you?
We got Woman in Black, and that has a video, and I got audio, Angel from Montgomery, MP3.
Okay. Let's do Woman in Black.
Oh, just like that. You got any lead into that, or just boom? Let's just do it.
Boom.
All right. No secret stuff. Jenn Ford with Woman in Black. Sorry, Jonathan. Didn't mean to talk over you.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4.
She shows up and makes her way through the crowd with her head held up high. She always looks proud, there's no fear in her bones. She ain't afraid to be bold in a game of cards. She'll never fold. Well, she never second guesses. She won't think twice. Ain't afraid to take some chances. But she chooses the dice. She don't care what you think. She knows she'll impress. When you got on that black, you don't need a damn dress. Woman in black. She's the woman in black. When she takes out that Mac, she pours out her soul. She don't hold back when it's time for the show. The kind of music from the days of old. The band is right there playing blues, rock and roll. Woman in black. She's the woman in black. She's the one that looks like she's running the show. Won't back down from the fire. She's always ready to go. You see what you get when that girl comes around. She's a straight shooter in the whole damn town. Woman in black. She's the woman in black. When she takes out that Mac, she pours out her soul. She don't hold back when it's time for the show. The kind of music from the days of old. The band is right there playing blues, rock and roll. Woman in black. She's the woman in black. Come on. Well, she never second guesses. She won't think twice, ain't afraid to take some chances. But she's choosing to die, she don't care what you think. She knows she'll impress. When you got on that black, you don't need a damn dress. Woman in black. She's the woman in black. When she takes out that Mac, she pours out her soul. She don't hold back when it's time for the show. The kind of music from the days of old. The band is right there playing blues, rock and roll. When she takes out that Mac, she pours out her soul. She don't hold back when it's time for the show. The kind of music from the days of old. The band is right there playing blues, rock and roll. Woman in black. She's the woman in black. Woman in black. She's the woman in black.
That is Jenn Ford, Woman in Black. Jen, do you realize how much you impact the world?
Nope. No. That's like a very broad statement.
When people get the chance to hear you, and that's the piece. I don't know how to grow it. We've been trying to figure this out for 5 years now. When people get the chance to hear you, they Frank DeMyth, Amanda Brown, Joel Grant Felici, they're loving the music, they're loving the sound, and we love your sound too.
Well, thank you very much. I work really hard and I try to just sing music that I like and write music that comes from experience or just interpret it. And I try to be memorable and I try to be fun. And music is the thing that I can always count on to give me joy. Sometimes it's a little bit of stress. Like yesterday, I've been really tired because of the move and everything. And yesterday when I first was getting in the car going to our gig, I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But I had the best time as soon as he started playing that first note. And I was so glad that I went. I just know, honestly, I need this next couple of weeks is going to be me kind of taking some time to recharge, because what I've figured out about myself as a musician is that it is my way. It's my first language. It's my way to communicate to people. And I want to bring joy and positivity to people, inspire people, maybe to forget a little bit about the bad stuff and just be in the moment and have a good time. But the reality is every time I put out all of that energy, I've got to have a way to recharge. And do not think I've done enough of that in the last few weeks, and it's starting to show. I've recently been diagnosed with some autoimmune diseases, and they're all manageable, but a lot of times it starts to show up in a physical way if I do too much. And so I'm going to take a little bit of time off in the next couple of weeks to kind of just, rest up and get ready to do the next thing. But definitely happy to be on the stage all the time and taking way better care of myself than I was years ago. So I feel like I'm going to be doing this forever, and I don't want to do anything else except this.
Well, we got you, and whatever we can do to support you, please let us know, and we'll continue and have and will and always. You're a champion in our corner, in my opinion, and we just appreciate all the work you're doing.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. It's been a little bit.
You're always welcome here. You know that. We know this. Jenn has wrecked some of our shows before, wrecked in a good way.
Well, I think that your mission as a podcast and a radio show, it takes a lot to put that on and do that every single week and come up with fresh topics, and you're constantly and consistently coming up with new people that are doing the same thing you're doing in a different way across the nation, and having your friend over here talk about all of the organizations trying to sort of centralize as a place, as a resource, like as a search engine, a veteran search engine for veterans issues. I think that's great, because talking about all of these different things is how people get to know. You can't just sit there and hold on to the information and not share it. That's our responsibility, is to help other people that are like us and have similar experiences. And I think that's our duty as veterans in continuing to serve. And the whole passion through purpose thing, I'm all about that.
I love it. We are at that point in our evening where we've outran our hour show, which is customarily all the time, and we're good here. But we got to bring it to a close, and we usually let Jonathan put it out there. He normally has this eloquent way about himself that says, you know what, this is something I get to take away from tonight. What's your closing statement, Sean?
Going through this podcast, it kind of brought me back to a kind of when I got out, right? And it's been 16 years now. So when I got out, I didn't really have, I think maybe a lot of veterans go through this. I just wanted to be done, right? Just cut ties. I'm out of the military. Finally, I'm not going to talk about it, be about it. I'm just going to find the best way I can to move forward with my life and become productive in whatever's next for me. So you forget about the resources. You don't find the resources. I mean, hell, I was out for probably 8-10 years before I even went and seen the VA and got set up with the VA. So I think, like Jenn said, and like Mr. Stitt was mentioning earlier, there's a definite need for us as veterans and people with access to veteran resources to take hold of other veterans and show them the, not necessarily the way, but at least lead them to the proper place where they can find their resources. And each of us is going to have our own, I don't know what you want to call it, like a niche, or there's going to be a different group that we associate with that, is specific to you. And you got to get your feet wet. You got to get out there. You got to be willing to, I know people will say it's kind of generic, but you got to be willing to go out there and try, fall on your face, get up, try again, and find what works for you, because there are resources, there are organizations out there, and you will come across somebody that's going to be life-changing for you. And that's where it all starts. And this is a good place to start anywhere really, but VFWs, American Legions, all those places, they have great resources So just get out there, look, find something, and get started.
Yeah, but not every resource is going to be as good as the next, or as good for a person as it is for the next person. So definitely explore all of the resources. And I think exactly what you said about 16 years ago, 15 years ago, that when I got out, all I wanted was to be home and to be a mama and to be with my friends and with my family. And I didn't really want to talk about anything that had to do with the service. But I had to come to terms with the fact that that will always be part of me. And once I accepted that and was able to move on, and I was able to talk about my experience in the service and apply it, the good things to my new experiences outside of the service, and it kind of was healing in a way for me to realize that even though not everything was positive, there were a lot of really amazing things that happened and continue to happen because of the time that I spent serving. So I try to continue to serve, and I think that all of us at our core still have that servant's heart. Once we get out, we can't help it. We see a need and we try to fix it, especially when we're healed and we're healthy and we have a support system around us. It's a lot easier for us to help others, and that's the key. Community, wellness, mental wellness, spiritual wellness, all of those things, passions, all of those things help us be better all around.
Absolutely outstanding. Mr. Stitt.
Yes. Again, thank you for having me on tonight. I look forward to working with you, and also to help think about ways that I could advertise the program. You were talking about the button up there on top about streaming this to on other platforms or stuff that we're connected with directly. So I'll be looking at doing that in the future also to get the word out that there's somebody like you, maybe us, if I can say that now, available for veterans who are looking or might have been apprehensive about reaching out before. But this is nobody suit and tie or putting on fronts or anything here. Very natural, pretty open to talk about pretty much anything you want to. Keeping the offensive subjects out of the way, but again, very open. What I say, just regular people. And I think a lot of times that's what veterans are looking for. They're not really impressed with a person's title or where they are in the bureaucracy. It's more like, well, yeah, well, can you really understand what I'm going through? Can you help me in the way that I need help? Yeah. And so this is very commendable. I really don't know of any other agency, organization like this that that's really trying to do what you're trying to do. They say they are, but at the same time, it's 8 to 5. So anything after that, or if we're going to a conference or something, just leave a message, or somebody might pick up and give you a call back, or they might not. So it's it's really it's great to be involved with a group of dedicated people. Nobody's saying we have to do this, but it's a kind of a common thread that we feel obligated. We feel it's maybe we're blessed at being able to do this, and this is a way that we can help fellow veterans and improve their life.
Mr. Stitt, you gave me my proud papa moment of the night, and I appreciate you for that acknowledgement. And it is, we as a team, and I've said this for the last couple of weeks. It's been a chunk of time, probably about 2 months now. The WeP3 team has Andrea and Jonathan has carried this load for a minute now, and I want to openly acknowledge that and say that they have come. I had to take care of some things. I'm going to continue to take care of some things, but they've been an amazing support for me through all this. That's my personal note, but at the same time, the proud papa moment of people acknowledging and recognizing what we are trying to accomplish, and it's not easy. And there are times where, again with Adam Bird, again with Andrea, again with Jonathan, our team and many others sitting down and having the hard conversations about, are we heading in the right direction? Are these organizations we're affiliated with doing the mission that they say that they're doing? And because we have said we're going to cut the fluff. The fluff creates confusion, and we want to get away from the confusion. And so we have to be true to the mission, the purpose, and the cause. We have to, you can't poop where you sleep, people. I'm going to tell you that right now. And if you are a consumer and a leader, and being a leader and a consumer, you better find a different role to play, because there's no room for it. You have to step up. You have to drive the passion, and the passion has got to make sure it's taking care of other people. I'll get off my soapbox real quick. Here's my call to action. Andrew, you're going to be last. Sorry. Not that you're ever last, because you're number one in all of our hearts. We know that. Our call to action is, we got people that come up and they want to do the 22 push-ups. Brothers and sisters, if you're going to do your push-ups, do your push-ups and don't listen to other people. Your push-ups are bringing the recognition to the people that need to hear that. We've got people that want to ruck march. Go ruck march. Do your thing. What we do is we type in our text thread, "I was just thinking about you." Cut and paste that and send it to 6 people in your I have my moment, your contact list. Thank you. Reach out to 6 people and say, "Hey, I was just thinking about you." Yes, we are veterans and first responders first. That's our mission. If you're listening to this show, hearing this show for the first time, been part of the show at any given time, your 6 people can be any 6 people on your contact list. We don't care. We've got a thing going on our earth right now that is called a pandemic, for lack of a better word. I don't know what to call it. But we got people that are struggling with decisions at the worst opportunities and at the worst moments. And if they knew someone was thinking about them, that might be the piece that gets them to the next day. And tomorrow is better with all of you in it. That's my statement. We're also pushing to have our version of us tomorrow should be better than the version of us today. You should be finding a way to grow. If there's a way that you think you can help in the process, we're looking for time, talent, and treasure. And we're looking for those people that want to put an effort into making our society and our country a better place. So I've thrown a couple of call to actions in there, but ultimately reach out to 6 people. I do say, find a challenging one. We do jokingly say it doesn't have to be an ex-wife or husband or girlfriend, but find that challenging relationship in your world and life that maybe went sideways at one point because of something that might have been a little trivial or silly, and reach out to them and say, "You know what? I'm just thinking about you. Sorry, not sorry." Be part of the mission. Be part of the process. Miss Eichmann, it's all yours.
Well, thank you. I was reaching out to one of my 6 just there. So I want to thank you, Al, for coming on tonight. We had such a great conversation 2 weeks ago, I think, a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I do want to say that conversation totally, it charges up the enthusiasm. I don't know if that's the right word, enthusiasm, like not a happy thing, but like needing to get going on how do we continue helping others? How do we reach more people? How can we combine our efforts? And really, we decided that was by collaborating. When we were talking, our missions were so parallel to each other. And sometimes we need to get that parallel gone and start crisscrossing over top. And that's so, I giggle a little bit because there's another connection in Virginia. We can add another state right on that. And Al knows a great many people and units that can help in different ways as well. So it's just those connections that you make, whether on purpose or by accident. I don't believe in accidents. I believe they happen for reasons. But when they come along, don't ignore them. I think I reached out to Al on Alignable, which is Alignable is a mystery to me. But every once in a while, it works out really well. And for Jenn, same message. But you shared the message from the female veteran point of view. And I know that when we first had you on and we brought you up here, I remember you saying you were very touched by how we always recognized you as a veteran first. And then the musician came later, and it all goes hand in hand. Female veteran musician, super friend, super funny, super warm heart person, and talented, amazingly talented. And so you said it as well, the resources, even if they're there, they're not easy to find. And I know it's getting better, and hopefully it's getting easier. And if that's part of our mission, then it can only get better and easier. And I know Minnesota, the VA up in Minneapolis, is building a huge women facility. And so that's exciting. I should really see how far they are. I heard about it just a few months ago. And that's amazing. It's about time. It's about time things get balanced out a little bit. And I do we do have 2 veterans. Well, we have 4 veterans on the screen, but we put the same messages out there for first responders. And I should mention that I see more and more groups that are adding first responder onto their mission. And I lost my train of thought. Shoot. Oh, and every time I scroll through Facebook, it's like a reassurance when I come across a new person that I'm going to reach out to. If they show up as a first responder, and then I start snooping around in their information, so many times there's military history in their background as well. And so it really just goes hand in hand. Next week, on that note, we have Jamil Mutran coming on, and he is chief at Desert Haven EMS and chief at Texas Rescue Patrol. And I did just creep on his page, and he also looks like he likes to save cute puppies. So I'm going to let you guys figure that one out. Come visit us next week. We got your 6 at 6 Central Time. Same time, same place. Probably some of the same people and the same message. So thank you very much tonight. Amanda, yes, you put a lot of comments in there, and the timing of them and the fun of them was perfect. Absolutely love it. Keep it up. Hey, Jeremy Daniels, and hey, Jeremy Brown. Good to see you too. All of you. Frank was on here earlier. I put his book in the title of his book, Of Vital Interest. I'll probably finish it or get close tonight. And I saw someone else pop in. Joel had to go put his dogs to bed. But thank you. There's so many more, and I don't mean to leave anybody out, but I just grabbed the ones from the last few minutes. So thanks for being a part tonight, and I will catch you next week.
Lead with purpose, lead with pride. Patriot pride.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good evening.
Absolutely. Peace out. Stalling. I don't know what Peter's going to do.